I first noticed it in a mirror, not in real life. Not at first. I was just brushing my teeth, half awake, when I saw it behind me in the bathroom mirror. A tall building. Gray. Completely windowless. It was just standing there, where my bedroom walls should have been. Of course, I whipped around. Nothing. Just my normal apartment. The familiar poster on the wall. The messy pile of laundry in the corner. I turned back to the mirror. My heart still thumping a little too fast. It was still there. Looming. At first I chalked it up to stress. I'd been working late, not sleeping well. It's amazing what your brain will invent when it's exhausted, right? That's what I told myself. But then, it started showing up everywhere. In the reflection of a store window as I walked by, in the rearview mirror of my car, blocking out the traffic behind me, even in the dark, blank screen of my phone. Always the same silent, gray building. And always right behind me. I tried to ignore it, to rationalize it. But a cold dread started to settle in my bones. This wasn't just a trick of the light. One day, after about a week of these silent hauntings, I saw something new. A single, small light, high up on its surface. It was like a tiny pinprick of yellow in the vast, gray emptiness. It hadn't been there before, I was sure of it. This was the first change, the first sign that this thing, whatever it was, wasn't static. It was evolving. The next day, I looked in the mirror, my breath held tight in my chest. There were two lights, side by side. The day after that, 3. It felt like someone was turning on the lights in an office building, floor by floor, night by night. But this building had no windows. Then, about a month into this waking nightmare, a door appeared. A simple, dark, rectangular shape at the base of the tower. It was just there, and in the reflection, I was standing right in front of it. My reflection self, he was looking at it, eased back to me. But in reality, in the solid world, I was standing in the middle of my living room, staring at my own terrified face on my dark TV screen. The me in the reflection was just a few feet from that door, while the real me was safe in my apartment. At least, that's what I kept telling myself. Safe. The real terror. The kind that steals your breath and freezes your blood, began one night. I was getting ready for bed, doing that final check in the mirror. I noticed something that made my stomach drop. In the reflection, the version of me standing there wasn't lined up with my own body anymore. He wasn't standing behind me, mimicking my movements. He was closer to the building, just by a few feet, but the distance was unmistakable. He had moved on his own. I hadn't taken a step. I splashed water on my face, rubbed my eyes, hoping it was a distortion. But no, he was closer to that gray monolith, and I was still here. The next morning, I woke up feeling utterly exhausted. My muscles ached like I'd run a marathon. My feet were sore, as if I'd been walking all night long. I stumbled to the bathroom, and my heart sank. In the mirror, my reflection was even closer to the building. He was now halfway across the empty space that separated him from that mysterious door. Each day was the same after that. I'd wake up more and more depleted, feeling drained of all my energy. And in every reflective surface, from a spoon to a puddle on the street, I could see him, my outer self, getting closer, step by agonizing step, to that windowless tower. I became obsessed. I started avoiding my reflection, covering the mirrors in my apartment with sheets, turning my phone face down. I walked, looking at the ground, trying to avoid my own image in the glass of office buildings. But you can't escape your own reflection forever. Sooner or later, you catch a glimpse. And every time I did, it was closer. The distance was shrinking. I could almost see the texture of the gray wall behind him. I knew he was going to reach it. I just didn't know what would happen when he did. The fear was a constant companion, a cold knot in my stomach. Then came the day. I was washing my hands, my eyes glued to the porcelain of the sink, trying not to look up. But I couldn't resist. Primera. De tu no. I slowly lifted my head, my gaze meeting my own in the mirror. He was there. My reflection. He was standing with his back pressed against the base of the building, and he was turning. Slowly, he turned his head, and for the first time, it looked at me. Directly at me. His eyes were my eyes, but they held an expression I'd never seen before. It wasn't fear. It was an invitation. His hand, my hand, lifted and pressed flat against the mirror from his side. My heart was hammering against my ribs. I don't know what possessed me. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe I was just so tired of being afraid. My own hand rose, shaking, and I reached out. I pressed my fingertips against the cool glass of the mirror. But I didn't feel glass. I felt cold, rough, metal. The chill shot up my arm. Primera looked down. I was standing on cracked pavement, not the bath mat in my bathroom. The air smelled of dust and ozone. I was here. I was standing right in front of the building, not in a reflection. Not anymore. The door, that dark rectangle I had seen for weeks, was wide open, revealing an impenetrable darkness within. I slowly turned around, my mind reeling. Behind me, there was no mirror. There was no bathroom. There was only a blank, seamless wall where the mirror, where my world should have been. Now, I live here, in this place between reflections. Sometimes, I see people on the other side. They're brushing their teeth, or checking their hair, or looking at their phone. And in the reflection behind them, they see a tall, gray, windowless building. They get a little spooked. Maybe they tell their friends a weird story. They never realize the truth. They're not looking at the building. The building is looking at them, and so am I waiting. Because every now and then, someone gets curious. Someone gets tired of being afraid. Someone reaches out and touches the glass. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more. Stay safe out there.